Hello and good morning to you. I hope you are having a delightful morning so far. I am ready to rock and roll. I have my mug OT. This thing is quite large. It's like as I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's like the size of my face, size of my head. And it's like 30 some ounces, I think. I think I can fit a whole ball jar of tea in here. So anyway, that's a lot of tea. All right, so I opened up my YouTube, and on the little home screen where you have your little home, the first YouTube videos that pop up, there was one that intrigued me, and I thought, let's just watch it together. It's called Musicians Telling the Truth About American Idol. So I have no idea what that means. I'm kind of curious where they're coming from. Like, is there some big story? It's a pretty recent video. It's like January 2022, not too many days ago from when I'm recording this. So it's like, is there something big that we should know? I have not watched a lot of American Idol. I've certainly appreciated the music that American Idol has brought to the world, and some of the people have been really, really interesting. But I haven't watched a lot of it, so I'm super curious. It's a show that I haven't had TV for the most part. Like, I don't have cable, so I haven't had even regular TV, so I never could really watch it. So I'm familiar with it. I understand it. I've seen enough to know how the program works. But yeah, okay, let's dive in. Loudwire.
Don't worry about what everyone else thinks. Don't let someone say, like, sorry, you didn't win the song contest. Go home.
But on, American Idol, the judges would say, well, look, are you doing somebody a favor by telling them keep going at something they're not good at?
Who's to say who's good or not? Imagine Bob Dylan standing there and singing Blowing in the Wind in front of those judges. Sorry, it's a little nasally and a little flat.
That is such a good point. I love David Grohl. He is another one of those people. I know he played with Nirvana, and I've certainly heard, music beyond that. But I really, every time I've got a chance to see him, some of the snippets of the concert that happened during COVID, or most of COVID, towards the end of COVID, there's something about him in the interviews that I've seen. He seems so, again, genuine and real to me. And I think this is such a great point. I think of the musicians, like Stevie Nicks would be another one that I'd question. Would she make it past American Idol judges? Like, how many people get turned down that would be amazing but are kind of squashed, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, yes, Bob Dylan. Would our music world change if Bob Dylan was told go away and he didn't continue to pursue, or just how that would reflect? Anyway, all right.
Next.
How would you do an American Idol?
Oh, I would never make it, ever in a heartbeat. People need to appreciate their voice. I don't want to sing like someone else. I want to sing like me.
I don't agree with the premise of that show. I don't knock the kids who go on and try it, and I understand they want to be stars, but I'm a believer you got to get some scars and you got to get some feel, and there's a certain path you got to take in life with anything you do. Before you own the garage, you got to learn how to sweep the floors. I believe that. I was taught that, and I think the worst thing in life is the biggest curse would be to be famous without any money, and I think that's what that show does to a lot of people.
Interesting. To be famous without any money. So is that the people who... I'm curious to know what he means by that. Does that mean that you don't have money going into the business, so you can't control your own stuff, which is part of the problem that I've heard with American Idol? Or is it meaning that you didn't win, but you're still kind of famous? And yeah, anyway.
And I don't think he needs to be down there, telling kids if they can sing or not, in teeny bopper land. It's been said to me too, and I've said this many times, and I'll tell you because it's kind of funny and true, that a buddy of mine gave me some crap about that. He's like, who do you think you are? There's 30 million people a week to watch that show, and you're on your high horse saying they can't use your songs, and you say it's no good. I go, I'm not a mathematician, but the last time I checked, there's 300 million people in America, and I'd like to talk to the 270 million that don't watch that bullshit.
Corey Taylor. I'm not sure if I knew who Corey Taylor is, but I assume he was a contestant on American Idol.
Hi, Simon! For those of you that don't know, that was dedicated to Simon Cowell, the heartless son of a bitch who's trying to destroy music as we know it.
Or maybe he wasn't on American Idol. I don't know. I'm curious.
And hey, guess what? I don't give a fuck. I'll never be on one of his shows, so he can suck it.
Number one.
I do think, it's interesting because some people love watching Simon Cowell just destroy people, and I don't get that. And maybe it's come from my perspective of somebody who, I have sung in my life in various situations, and to have somebody just kind of take you down, as deeply as he can, is just, it's hard to take, even if they're not great. And if they're not great, well, what are they doing? Maybe they shouldn't have got through, or did they get through kind of on a weird fluke or whatever. And I did hear him in an interview once say that they would have like bets with each other, or somebody would say a word, and then the thing, that weird word, was the thing that Simon, and I don't know if they all did this or if Simon was the only one that had to do it, that he was to use it in a comment back to somebody. And so it makes me curious if that's where some of the jerky things that he has said, that I've seen him say, that not that there isn't or not harshness, what am I trying to say? Not that there isn't criticism to be given or pointers or whatever, but to watch the show just to see him tear people down is just not my idea of a good time.
Number one for Christmas, how would that be, and what would you like to say to the potential buyers listening?
This has been a real, completely grassroots campaign started by real fans of music, and I think it's tapped into the silent majority of the people in the UK are tired of being spoon-fed one schmaltzy ballad after another, and they want to take back their own charts. And we are honored that they've chosen our song to be the rebel anthem to try to topple the X Factor monopoly.
Simon is as an interesting character who seems to have profited greatly off humiliating people on live television, and has a unique position of someone who could not only capture the attention of some people on television, but also on the airwaves. So we see this as a necessary break in the chain of that control.
Do you enjoy watching it?
I do like it.
It's a good TV show.
That's what it is. But when they say things like, you're great, but you're too young. Well, don't put her through in the first place then. Do you know what I mean? They shouldn't put 16-year-olds on that show.
Do you think it should be 18s or 21s and over then? You think they're too young?
I think it should be at least 18, because what would happen conceivably if the public voted a 16-year-old into pop stardom?
I don't know what the age ranges are. I know that I feel like from when I've heard about auditions, people who have talked about them, that they got younger and younger and younger. So it's, I guess, looking for the term American Idol, that doesn't have to be a young person. And the older lady who got through, she wasn't on American Idol. She was on like X Factor or something like that. And I'm curious to know how she got through. Okay, sorry, it was Susan Boyle, and it was Britain's Got Talent, I think it was. Okay, Morrissey is up next.
And everybody knows it's crap, and there are certain crap things that people seem to enjoy, and there they are, and there they stay, and there's nothing we can do about it. But I mean, the very last thing these people are idols, and it's ludicrous. I mean, it's just a game. It's just like a modern talent show. And I feel sympathy for the people, for the contestants, and the whole action of ridiculing a contestant and bringing them down and kicking them out and watching them cry and kill themselves seems to be a part of modern entertainment. But I don't know anybody on the planet who enjoys it.
Yes, thank you so much. That is something that I have not loved in general. The fact that it's a win-or-lose game. And that, not that people aren't like better or worse or whatever, but it's all, it's all subjective, right? I mean, some people, back to Bob Dylan, some people love Bob Dylan, he's the best thing on the planet, and some people don't, right? And how much of that is you connect to something he's doing, whether it's words, whether it's voice, whether it's whatever, and how people make it, and what we love and what we don't love, and what we perceived to be great and what's manufactured and what's genuinely made. But I do totally agree. I mean, it's gone beyond, obviously it's not just music shows. It's some of the shows where, it's fun to watch people fall and fail, or what Survivor has turned into, kind of thing, where it's all about us watching meanness and seeing what happens. And I don't understand that. I do not think it's good for our guts, and I don't think it's good for our culture, and I don't think it's really very helpful. That doesn't mean everybody has to win, but geez, you can let somebody not win gracefully, and you can not ridicule them, and you can I don't know. Yeah, I'll stop there. But anyway,
I think it's just one of those little conspiracies again. You want to see somebody humiliated. Well, I don't.
X Factor's a well-oiled industrial machine for the pop industry that only serves the industry. That certainly doesn't serve the public or the artist, I don't think. The few that are lucky to get through are kind of all very much, like they've all been trained or they've already been out doing something that makes them sound very much the same.
Is there any way for
if you looked at it today, somebody like Robert Plant or Jim Morrison would not get on X Factor. They wouldn't pass the audition.
They give you a platform.
I just find that so fascinating of how many artists wouldn't make it. And I'd love to know why he says that, like, Robert Plant wouldn't make it. Is it a voice thing or is it something else? I wish they'd explain further.
Would not get on X Factor. They wouldn't pass the audition.
They give you a platform to go and to be an artist, but only if you're the artist they want you to be. And if you don't be that artist they want you to be, then that opportunity they're telling you you've got isn't really there. I did feel that as time went on, it was always a case of, we don't feel you want this enough. And I said, well, you know what, I don't want it that much. But we want you to want it. Okay, I want it. And then you get there and you think, I don't really want Sharon Osbourne calling me a fake, Louis Walsh saying I look like a serial killer. That is the sort of thing.
Wow, is that like what happened? I have to go research this dude. I've never seen this guy before, I don't think anyway.
I'm thinking, this isn't what I turned to become a singer for.
Yeah.
I did find it interesting that whenever I saw Simon, it was literally as soon as the cameras would roll. Here we go, right now, this is what we're going to say.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, blah, blah, thanks very much, I'm out of here. And so, okay, that's my mentoring for the week. Look, I've won a talent show. Let's just be realistic about this. I shouldn't be doing the red carpet. I should just turn up. Great, thanks very much. I'll sit down here, watch it, got a good seat. But let's not build it up to anything it is. It's just a talent show.
Interesting. I didn't know that Kid Rock did not allow his music on there. I suppose they have to buy the rights or whatever to do that, to do people's music. It's just really interesting. I don't know. I feel very complicated. It's so interesting hearing this. I feel like I have a complicated relationship with those shows because I do think they're not about talent in certain ways. Like, they're about where they're going to get the best show, where they're going to get the best ratings. And some of that is going to be really good talent. What brings this to mind a little bit is a video that I saw from this gentleman, from Wings of Pegasus is his channel's name, and I don't know if that's his band name or what, but he does a lot of videos looking at people's vocal styles. He does a lot with auto-tuning, but just really looking at people's vocal performances in a really, really kind of interesting way. Anyway, he mentioned on one of the videos that I happened to catch, one of the first videos, he talked about being on the X Factor. And then there is a couple videos, his performance as well as his audition, and going on the X Factor audition, and kind of like he went on to sort of straight and clean cut, and they kind of changed that a little bit and had him come back on. And I don't know if he made it. I don't think that he did. I'm not sure. But anyway, it just kind of talking about how it's sort of designed a bit, or maybe quite a bit. So anyway, I know that there's a business behind it and all of that, and I certainly enjoy a lot of the business of music, like the kind of manufactured artists. I enjoy them. I enjoy other bands in probably a little bit of a different way that are, a little more organic and not so manufactured. I don't know. I find it all very interesting. It's very, very interesting for me to just hear what other people's opinion in the business is, and how much it feels inorganic and taking people and then throwing them into stardom. It's always interesting to me how, like, if you win American Idol, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, and if you lose American Idol, like, you're trash, right? And I know that there are a good share of American Idol not winners who have gone on to do just fine, which is really cool. But it is a weird thing that we kind of do. It's like nobody goes, "Oh my God, you made it to second place on American Idol! Holy cow!" It's like, that guy lost. They suck. And there's that's a really big gap to almost winning to, they suck. Although I just heard a podcast about happiness that was talking about that and talking about Olympians who win silver or gold, silver, and bronze, and how the gold person is like, woohoo, look what I won. I won. I am the pinnacle. And that kind of wears off. That joy kind of wears off. The person with the silver medal is kind of seen as a meh. You won silver, so you lost, and that they actually feel that. Right, that they kind of feel the negativity around that. But the person who wins bronze is probably actually the happiest person. And she, in this podcast, explained the whole thing. But I thought it was really, really interesting. And it just totally, when she was explaining this, got me absolutely thinking of American Idol and just people's attitudes when, I remember, again, people talking about it when American Idol was really on. And, it's been on for a long time. But it seemed like when it was like network television and there wasn't every other, video service in the world and a ton of cable channels. Well, there's been a ton of cable channels for a long time. But anyway, it was a little more, it felt like it was more of a topic of conversation. But I just felt like when somebody didn't win, it was like just that it dropped them down. And it's like, somebody freaking came in second place to American Idol. That's pretty cool. They got on the show in the first place. That's pretty cool. American Idol isn't the end all be all to what is good music. But that's kind of how it sometimes, I think, probably feels. So anyway, there's a lot more to be said. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you thank you for hanging in there with me this long. There's so much to say about it, and again, having never done, I wish that I would have gone to the auditions. In my memory, and I could be really wrong about this, that there was an audition at the Mall of America, and I don't know if that was an open audition or a back room audition. And I wish that I had gone to see. I think I was too old to even ever try anything like that, just to have the experience of trying, and just doing it would have been fascinating. But yeah, I'd be curious to know. And I guess I don't know anybody who saw them, so maybe they were backroom auditions. All right, thank you so much. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.